Steps to help in substitution, not these kind of steps. So here we go. These are the steps involved in how to solve a system by substitution. The first thing we're going to do is find the equation that has a single variable. And a variable is considered single if it has a coefficient of basically 1 or -1. Okay, we're going to put this equation in the first column. We're going to solve for the single variable if it's not already single. So in other words, there's not one by itself. We're going to have to solve for that first to get one by itself. Now we're going to write this equation in the last column. We're going to use it again at the end, in the middle, and we're going to put the other equation in the second column. The one that we did not solve to get single, we put in the second column. In the second column, we substitute the single variable, and we solve for the error. That's where the substitution comes in, and we'll show you this here as an example. Then we're going to take this solution, plug it into the third column, or substitute it in to find that value, and then we're going to write it as an ordered pair. You're going like, well, what does all this mean? Well, I'll show you. So here's what we have. Solving for a single variable. It's supposed to have the equation 2x plus y equals 9 and x plus 4y equals 1. I need a y equals or an x equals. It doesn't matter which one. So I want to kind of make it, I want to pick the x plus 4y and basically just show you that I can do either one. I want to get the x by itself. So this is what I'm going to do first in this first column because it's not single already. So then to do that, I simply undo the adding of 4y, which is by minusing 4y. But if I do it to the left, I've got to do it to the right. So I'm just going to rewrite the equation as x equals 1 minus 4y. All right? So now then, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to rewrite this equation. The one I did not pick, I'm going to write it in the second column. And I see this 2x plus y equals 9. And what I'm going to do is this, see this x? It's the same as this x right here. But what is that x equal to? It's equal to 1 minus 4y, which I'm going to write over here in the third column. And I'm also going to write it, I'm going to plug it in and write it where the x is. I change the x to 1 minus 4y because that's what it's equal to. Now I'm going to use distributive property, take 2 times the 1, which is 2, and 2 times the negative 4y, which is negative 8y. Now I can add the negative 8y and y together to get a negative 7y. I'm then going to minus 2 from each side in solving the equation. I just didn't have it typed up there for space, but it's a minus 2, minus 2. If I minus 2 here, it cancels. If I take 9 and minus 2, I get 7. Now I'm going to divide everything by negative 7, and I get y is negative 1. So let's go back to our problem I have up here that I wrote down earlier. I have x equals 1 minus 4 times y, but what's y equal to? I'm looking for the point where they're the same. Well, this is going to happen when y is negative 1. So now I'm going to substitute, which is what plug it in means. Thank you, Rufus. So I'm going to take negative, replace the y with negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 4 is a positive 4, and 1 plus 4 is 5. So I'm almost done because you still have to write the answer. Now the question, is the answer negative 1, 5, or is it 5, negative 1? Well, you always write letters in alphabetical order. X comes before y. So it is, the answer is 5, negative 1. That was how we solve each system of equations by substitution.